Hello travelers, Boardman21 here, and today's build will be the Forge Guard. We had a bunch of people asking for an updated Forge Guard, and first off, the reason I don't use the Forge Guard is there's no skills locked in it that you really want to use. The only one that's really locked there is Smelter's Wrath, which isn't, one of my favorite skills. On top of that, the Paladin is just tankier, even though the Forge Guard has more damage reduction nodes inside of it. And you have the Void Knight, which is just way more of a DPS build due to the echoes and being able to get a whole extra hit in 50% of the time. However, we are going to update the Forge Guard. We did make a pretty viable build. It's decently tanky, it's dual wielding, it has great damage. It's going to push you a couple hundred waves in the arena, and it's going to get you through the content and the mono relatively easily. Now, we did do this a little bit differently. We'll be wearing tier 10 and under gear to prove that you can basically just take common items, throw stats on, and still get a really good build. It's more going to be based around having the skills synergize the correct way, having some decent idols, and putting your passives in the right spot to synergize everything together to get the best damage. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the skills. For skills, I'm running Sigils of Hope, Smite, Lunge, Rive, Ring of Shields. For Sigils of Hope, we're using this to get a lot of boosted damage. We're also going to turn it into an insta-cast so we never have to actually stop to cast it. Because we have so much mana, we don't care that it increases the mana cost. We just want to be able to cast it and have as much uptime of it as possible. And with the insta-cast, we'll be able to cast it and not stop riving, so we'll continually get mana as we're casting it, which is really nice. We also get a boost of armor, and we went for the duration so that we could get a fourth one. So we have 2 points in Iron Sigils for 80 more armor per active sigil, 4 points in Enduring Hope to unlock the 1 point in Tetragram so that we can have +1 maximum sigil. We can now have 4 total. 5 points in Empowering Sigil so that we get 30% increased damage per sigil. We'll have 4 of them, so we'll have 120% increased damage. 2 points in World of Alacrity so that we unlocked Exurgency. That's totally pronounced wrong, but you get the point. We have this, it increases the mana cost by 10 points and it gives it a cooldown of 1 second, but this will allow you to cast it without interrupting Rive or any other skill that you're doing. And the reason we want that is because we'll actually be casting it quite often, because we're going to want the 5 points in World of Power. We want the 150% increased global melee damage for 3 seconds after casting it. So we basically want to make sure we're casting it at least once every 3 seconds, and you'll have plenty of mana in order to do that. For Smite, we're using this for the attack speed and for the added fire damage. We have 1 point in Holy Wave, 5 points in Righteous Fury so that we get 15 added melee fire damage when we cast it for 4 seconds. 5 points in Righteous Flurry so that we get 50% increased attack speed for 4 seconds after casting it. 1 point in Descend. The only reason that I take Descend is 1, it turns it into a movement skill, which is nice, so it'll land you right on top of the enemies. But 2, it gives it a cooldown so that I can just put it on instacast, and then I don't even have to think about casting it every 4 seconds. I know that it's going to do it every 6 seconds, so I'm going to have 66.6% uptime of my 50% added buff and my 15 extra fire damage. After that, you can put the points anywhere that you want, but I have it set up so that we'll get multiple lightning hits. I have 2 points in Blinding Flash, 1 point in Order of Lagon, 1 point in Unbalanced Scale so that you now hit 3 targets with lightning, 3 points in Wandering Bolts so that you now hit a total of 7 targets. You'll do 6 additional hits on top of the original Smite hit. This all applies ailments, so you'll actually get 7 hits if you're doing any type of ailment with it as well. It's just a little extra damage, and then 1 point in Charged Hand for the shock chance and shock effect. For Lunge, we have this set up for an extra charge and just to maximize upon the initiative, damage, and crit chance. We have 3 points in Tactician, 4 points in Forge On, 1 point in Unstoppable, 1 point in Initiative so that when you lunge you gain a buff called Initiative for 4 seconds. This will increase your damage and your crit chance. 5 points in Avenger's Charge, increases the crit chance from 40% to 240%, which is a huge crit chance bonus. 1 point in Brigade, 4 points in Into the Fray, and 1 point in Double Strike so that you can have an extra charge. When you lunge, and you get the extra crit chance, you have initiative active, you'll have very close to 100% chance to crit with Rive. You'll actually be sitting at about 75% chance with strike 1 and 2 and 100% chance with strike 3. For Rive itself, we have this set up to have the fastest attack speed that we can get out of it. On top of that, we do extra damage against ignited enemies, and we try and do most of our damage with the third hit. So we have 2 points in Outburst, 1 point in Overwhelm, 3 points in Brutality, 2 points in Sever, 1 point in Twisting Fangs, 3 points in Savagery. This gives you 60% more hit damage against ignited enemies. 5 points in Flurry, so that you have 40% increased attack speed with the first and second strike, and 3 points in Concentration gives you 3% additional crit chance with the first and second strike, and 6% added crit chance. That's base crit chance with the third strike, and this is why you get really close to 100% crit chance with the third strike. For passives, I have 31 points in the Sentinel base class, with 5 points in Overwhelm, 4 points in Juggernaut, 1 point in Fearless, 5 points in Gladiator, 5 points in Armor Clad, 5 points in Time and Faith, 1 point in Gladiator, and 5 points in Blade Master. Now we are dual wielding an axe and a sword, so we actually get 60% increased attack speed from this node. 0 points in the Void Knight. We have 15 points in the Paladin with 8 points in Conviction, 2 points in Defiance, 5 points in Honor, and 66 points in the Forge Guard, our Master class, with 5 points in Battle Hardened, 1 point in Weapons Master, 1 point in Pedest, 5 points in Steel Aegis, 5 points in Rattling Block, and I know we're not wearing a shield and we don't have super high block, but you do take enough hits and you gain melee damage based on every hit you take. You get armor for every hit that you take, so you're kind of wanting to get hit and try and pull enemies in to hit you, and getting the additional 75 armor when you do only have a 15 to 30% block chance, depending if you cast a Ring of Shields recently, you're more likely to get the 5 to 10 stacks of this pretty often when you have mobs on you. 4 points in Shield Breaker, so that we can put 5 points in Hammer and Anvil. This lets us take 25% less damage, which is nice. 4 points in Thorn Mail, so that you have an additional 100 mana and attackers will take some damage when they hit you. 6 points in Might, 8 points in Duelist, 6 points in Lethal Strikes, 1 point in Flawless Defender, 1 point in Ospric's Bane, 3 points in Shield Crafter, so that the Ring of Shields have a chance of casting, even if it's on cooldown, with a 3% chance for every time you're hit. 5 points in Infinite Bulwark, you gain an additional 100% armor on potion use. 5 points in Liquid Iron. With 5 points in here, you normally take 15% less damage over time. When you use a potion, that gets doubled, so you actually take 30% less damage over time, which is really nice if you happen to be on dots or see yourself going up against some poison mobs that are going to fire a bunch of poison on the ground, and you know that might come. You can just pop a potion and know that you're going to be safe for the next 4 seconds. And 1 point in Avatar of War, so that you have increased melee damage per hit that you've taken recently. For items and idols, for the idol, you don't care what the suffix is, anything. You can even get increased armor, which is probably one of the better stats. But for the prefix, you want to make sure that you get the % increased Rive critical strike multiplier. That's going to just really boost the amount of damage you do, since you're going to be aiming for 100% crit with this build. For items, we have one unique, we have the Undisputed on. The reason for this is it gives you so much added melee physical damage, it's hard not to wear it. It also gives you attack speed, leech, and increased physical damage per hit against a bleeding target, so you get just a big boost of damage from it. If, however, you don't have one, feel free to throw on a Raider Axe, which will have base crit damage, or crit chance, which is going to help you achieve your 100% crit with Rive much easier, and then you could put added melee physical damage, attack speed, or leech on it as well, with chance to ignite or chill or ferality, whatever you want to put on it. But it's going to be almost the equivalent, but it's not going to have the same kind of base damage, but it will achieve 100% crit easier. For the offhand, we have a sword. We have the Deicide sword, which has added melee critical strike chance, increased physical damage, chance to ignite, and chance to chill. For the solar plate, we have strength, increased armor, flat health, increased health, For the helm, we have a winged helm with set physical, set necrotic, health, and increased health. You can see these are just tier 1s and tier 2s. For the oracle amulet, physical penetration, physical damage, elemental resistance, chance to shred armor on hit. For the rings, we have strength, we have leech, health, elemental resist, have that on both of them. For the belt, set physical, set necrotic, flat health, hybrid health. For the gloves, set fizz, set necrotic, flat health, and hybrid health. For the boots, set fizz, set necrotic, hybrid health, and movement speed. And for the relic, set fizz, set necrotic, elemental, and health. For our character sheet, you can see we're just shy on the poison and necrotic a little bit. We're shy on the elemental. So like for the rings where you only have a tier 1 elemental resist, feel free to go tier 3, tier 4. When all these are tier 4, tier 5, you're going to get your elemental capped. Just a couple more of set necrotic, higher affixes on a couple of these items would get you at the 75%, no problem. We have 30% damage reduction for hits with armor right off the bat, 15% block chance, and again, like when you use Ring of Shields or have it proc, you gain another 15%, so you're blocking at a 30% rate with it. For your armor, when you have the sigils go up and you get the heal from Ring of Shields, you're just going to have a massive amount of armor just from those, and then you get the 100% boost with a lunge, so you're looking at 40% plus damage reduction almost at all times. You can get up to 50% once you start taking some hits and stack your armor that way. And then how to play this build. So what you want to do is, I like to put the Lunge, Smite, and Ring of Shields all on auto cast, and then I'll just manually cast my sigils every couple of seconds, and all I'm worried about is holding down Rive to make sure I'm getting as many hits as possible with that. And as you can see, we're doing 50k crits here with the third strike. Your mana is just instantly coming back, so you can constantly spam your sigils that you need. And of course, when you're not in battle, you don't need to spam the sigils because you're not actually attacking anything. It's just a damage boost, and that's all there is to it. Let's go ahead and get into some more gameplay.